My name is Angel Thomas. I am 25 years old. I am a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a business owner. I consider myself a public speaker. I am a student. I am a teacher. I am just so much wrapped into one. I currently reside in Katy, Texas with my husband and my 8-month old son. I got married last year in September, so we're almost at a year. Yay. Radiant Love was founded in 2017. The vision behind Radiant Love was to honor my aunt who passed away when I was 4 years old. Her nickname was Love. Her personality was explained to me to be very radiant, so I put them together and came up with the name Radiant Love. Radiant Love exemplifies the power of boldness, beauty, and self-confidence. My motto is be bold, be beautiful, be you. The reason behind Radiant Love's Love Talk is it's really a platform that I've created to shine light on kings and queens. There's going to be a plethora of different topics that we're going to talk about. My hopes are to uplift, to inspire, to encourage, to agree to disagree on certain things, to make a comfortable atmosphere, and it's just really to encourage kings and queens to let their radiant light shine. And I'm really, really good at giving advice. I'm creating this platform not only to give advice, but to receive advice and to learn new things and to just bring up conversations about things that we don't talk about, things that I think we should talk about. I take suggestions, anything. I'm going to be very transparent. I want to make this a very comfortable place. I need encouragement sometimes. Others may need encouragement sometimes. We are all going through things. We are all accomplish things, whether they're big or small. And this platform is what that's all about. So I just want to encourage everyone to be the best version of themselves, to be bold, to be beautiful, and to be you. Y'all share this video. Share, share, share. So that leads me to my guest for the night. My guest for the night she is literally a diva with degrees. A diva with degrees. Miss Jantrell Johnson, LPC, NCC. So before I bring her on, I'm going to just give y'all a little background about her. Okay? So Jantrell Johnson, LPC, NCC, holds a Master of Arts degree in Clinical Mental Health Counseling and a Bachelor of Science in Psychology from Southern University and A&M College. Jantrell is currently employed at Woodlake Addiction Recovery Center in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where she serves as a substance abuse counselor. Jantrell prides herself on the therapeutic relationship and rapport she builds with her clients and views herself as a change agent in the fields of mental health and substance abuse. Jantrell is currently pursuing her PhD in counselor education and supervision at the University of Holy Cross in New Orleans, Louisiana. Yes. Hello. Welcome to Love Talk.
Hey.
So, first and foremost, I just want to say congratulations on your many accomplishments thus far. I'm super proud of you for deciding to further your education and pursue your PhD. That's a big thing. Yes. No matter how difficult it may get, I just want to encourage you to keep pushing because we are all here rooting for you.
I'm
so proud of you. You are so welcome.
Thank you.
So
I just want to thank you for having me. Thank you for having me on your live.
Oh, you are so welcome.
I'm still shocked, when people reach out to me because I'm just doing me and people I'm shocked that how many people are just inspired by, just my what I've been doing and my drive, so I was shocked, but I'm flattered. Thank you.
Yes. You never know. You just never know who's, who really looks up to you. So thank you and you're welcome. And yes. So let's dive right on in. So today's topic is on mental health. Mm-hmm. It's a topic, in my opinion, that needs to be talked about more, especially in our community. Mm-hmm. My goal is to bring awareness to mental health and stop the stigma. So
Right.
that's what my goal is. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just gonna dive right on in. And could you please introduce yourself and tell us what the letters in your credentials stand for?
Okay, well, like you said, I'm Jantrell Johnson, LPC, newly NCC. I just found out, got that news last week. That's something I've been waiting for.
Congratulations.
That's something that's been in the works. You know, it's been a process, but I'm here finally. LPC is just a licensed professional counselor. NCC is a national credential counselor. So that just pretty much means, well, national certified counselor, excuse me. So that just pretty much means that it's just a level of distinction amongst counselors, because it's a lot of people that you might hear, they work in the field of mental health, and they refer to themselves as a counselor, therapist, or mental health professional, mental health specialist, and there's a difference. So it's a distinction between the counselors, and it just pretty much signifies that you have met the highest national standards. So it just pretty much means that I've jumped through all the hoops that I need to jump through to be licensed as an LPC. NCC is just like one of the highest honors. The next step above that would be an LPCS, means that I can supervise other PLPCs, provisional licensed professional counselors, that are seeking to be fully licensed and who are, hopefully looking to be certified, on a national level. So that's just pretty much what it means. And of course, it requires, securing your master's degree in counseling, applying for licensure, being a provisional licensed professional counselor, and, just completing those 2 years of supervision, passing the national counselor's exam. So after you jump through all of those hoops, and that's when you can finally refer to yourself as a licensed professional counselor. And then for me, of course, I had to wait until I was fully licensed before I could actually apply to become a national certified counselor, due to my university not being accredited. But usually that's something that most counselors can do once they actually pass the NCE, or once they graduate from their master's program. So I just had to, I had to wait a little longer, but we got it done.
You got it done.
Yeah.
Yes. I wish you could see. I literally have chill bumps just listening to you say all of this. Like, that is just amazing. Like,
Thank you.
I literally have chill bumps listening to you. I am super duper proud of you. Like, keep striving. Like you said, you were flattered. I'm flattered right now, because I just love to see this. You're a representation. Like, I see you and I see myself. Like, wow. I'm just so happy for you. Yes.
Thank you.
You are
And
so welcome.
that is so shocking though, because in my experience, I've always been like the go-getter, the achiever. That's always been I'm just very driven, so I set a goal and I just go out and I just attack. It is done. It's as good as done if I set that goal. And it was shocking to me, but not necessarily shocking. It was just, the strangest people that you don't even realize that are watching, that are paying attention to your journey. They're so inspired, so they're just off watching on sidelines. And then, like, when I post, my accomplishments, they just come out of the woodworks. And, I'm like I said, I'm flattered, because I mean, it's a humbling experience, for you to achieve certain things, when you achieve goals and you actually scratch them off your list and say that's done, 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 done. You think that you would be, prideful and just, just so full of ego and cocky and things like that, but really you're not. It's a humbling experience. So I just, that's something that I would want to stick with me, and I want people to know my character for that, because they see I have all of these titles and things like that, but those titles don't make me. I still have, I have to be true to who I am, so of course it's a humbling experience. I always like to come off that way. So, but thank
you are so welcome. You are so welcome. So let's move along to this next question. According to demographic information on counselors in the U.S., 73.3% of counselors are female. 70.6% of counselors are white, making that the most common race or ethnicity in the occupation. 19.8% of counselors are Black, which is the second most common race of ethnicity in this occupation. In my opinion, this is just my opinion, is the reason why I believe our community doesn't really go to counseling, or it's shunned upon, because we feel like maybe sometimes we can't relate, or they can't relate to us. So I just want to say thank you for, deciding to be a representation. As a Black licensed counselor, could you please explain to our listeners the truths about the benefits of being counseled?
So it's a number of benefits in seeking out counseling. Of course, what I'm finding now, me being almost, 3 years into the profession, is just pretty much realizing that you're on a journey of self-awareness and insight into exactly who you are. So, and I mean, counseling, doing counseling, becoming a counselor, any counselor that's actually been in a master's program, they'll tell you that you have to know yourself. You have to have that self-awareness and the insight into issues that might cause some turbulence within your life. So I have to always be in just self-awareness, always in self-awareness mode to be aware and cognizant of things that might affect me. And if I'm aware of those things, then I can be of better service and more effective to my clients, because if I can pinpoint issues that I struggle with, it makes it much easier, and it makes me an example to my clients. But that's something that I definitely feel that people, that they could definitely benefit from counseling. And I mean, even in my counseling program, they made us actually go through counseling. We had to get counseling for ourselves so that we can know what it feels like to be on the other side of it, to actually be a client and to have somebody just prying and digging and just getting all your information. So I find that we do counseling in a more informal way, because I've been counseling for a long time, way before I was licensed, way before I got this master's, way before I was even in college. I've always been, that go-to person, listening, a real good listener, and then I'll listen to everything that you guys say, and I'm going to come back with some insightful feedback or some suggestions for you, but realizing that talk therapy, just me and you we having a conversation right now. This is not even an interview. This is a conversation, so I'm talking to you right now, and you might ask me a question, and I might think back. It might trigger something in me that I didn't even know that was there. So as I'm talking to you right now, the feelings start coming over me, and then I might realize, okay, I never realized that was an issue that I needed to address until we just happened to start talking about it, and the emotions followed. So that's usually what most of when I decide to do individual counseling sessions, because I really like to just stick with substance abuse. I do group mostly. But when I do individual counseling sessions, whether it's for mock, like just for show, just for like a presentation or something that I'm doing, or if it's a full-on session, what I find is, being an active listening, actually listening to what the client is saying, looking to see what they're not saying, and looking at nonverbals, looking at the body language, because that tells a story within itself. But being able to pick up on little hints and realizing, okay, helping them to discover what is an issue for them. So sometimes you might come into a counseling session and feel like, I don't need this, or I don't have no problems, and and then when you start talking to somebody and they pull you and they navigate you to some place that you didn't think that you had an issue, then you start realizing, well, I never even thought about that. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. So those are just the benefits of counseling. You could feel like you don't have any issues, quote unquote, because I mean, I could feel like I don't have any issues. Most people would think, oh, you got your stuff together, but I mean, I'm still on a journey, and I'm still growing. I want to be better than I was yesterday, better than I was 3 months ago, so that's just It's personal. Everything that I do is personal. If I'm achieving something, it's for me. It's not for to impress nobody. It's just a personal goal that I have, and it has to be personal in order for me to achieve it and see it through. So yeah, I think that's just pretty much a benefit of counseling, just having insight into who you are. And I think that helps you to pursuing any goals that you might have, just helping you to be more holistic, whether it's, and I always look at the 4 versions of, like being holistic. Of course, your physical, your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual, so just pretty much bringing all 4 of those together so that you can be a whole person.
Beautiful. And I've actually I'm actually considering going to counseling. Just, nothing, not because I feel like something is wrong, or
right.
I just feel like it'll be therapeutic, just
yes.
to be able to talk, just to, to get those emotions and all of
yes.
that. So I definitely am considering counseling. I really am.
Yes.
So there are many different types of counselors. Some of the most common are like marriage and family counseling, guidance and career counseling, rehabilitation counseling, mental health counseling, substance abuse counseling, educational counseling, and that's just, to name the least. But could you please explain to us the type of counseling that you specialize in detail?
Okay, my degree is in clinical mental health counseling, and I also have an ancillary in school counseling, because I went to school and I was like, look, if they're offering it, I'm gonna take it, because you never know like what can happen, what I decide to do 5-10 years from now if I want to go into the school setting. So that's what my degree is in. But I'm currently working as a substance abuse counselor. So as a clinical mental health counselor, I can work in any of those fields that you just named, whether it's marriage and family, career counseling. I can work in all of those if I choose to. But yeah, I kind of fell into substance abuse counseling just due to like my internship. I picked my internship site and I just really wanted a clinical experience. I wanted clinical, so I was looking to maybe the hospitals, psych ward or something like that while I was getting ready to graduate with my master's. So I had to just complete 600 internship hours. And I interviewed one of these a clinical director, and she was at a substance abuse facility. And I said, okay, well, it seems like it's the best of both worlds, because in working in substance abuse, you would think that all of the issues are drug related, but they're not, and that's a good thing. Because as I got into the field, of course, I was apprehensive about working in substance abuse, because you hear things on TV, you hear things, you watch movies, and you just draw these conclusions of, these people and the things that they struggle with. You stereotype them, you group them, and you say, well, they just don't want anything out of life. They're just, bad people, but really that's not the case. And I think, of course, my plan, okay, I was just an intern, I was an intern, and then like a month before I was getting ready to graduate, they offered me a job. They hired me as an intern.
Oh,
Which
wow.
that's something like that's a major honor for them to even think so highly of me as an intern. But I mean, I had the experience. I just got in. I dove into it. And most times in this profession, it's like sink or swim. You have to be sharp with it. You have to be on your toes, because these clients, they coming with it,
Yes,
because these
yes.
clients, half of them, they've been on the streets, they've been surviving, so they can't vibe with somebody, especially you coming in, you have all this education, and you want to lead with your titles, and you want to lead with your degree. Then people don't care nothing about that. They want to know that you live in life, and you've experienced things too. You've been out there in the world wasn't so nice, and you've been hurt too. So those are the things that they relate and identify with, so that's the kind of approach I take with my clients. Of course, coming into the profession, I was apprehensive, because most of the substance abuse counselors that are in the profession, they actually are either in recovery, meaning that they've struggled with their own drug addiction, and they got the help that they needed. They went back to school, got whatever degree and certification that they needed, and now they're counseling and helping, other suffering addicts. But me, I'm not. So, of course, that's the first question that most of my clients ask me, are you in recovery? But I mean, I'm getting into the habit, and I found my groove. I've been doing this for 3 years, so I've kind of gotten in my groove. I'm real comfortable with my clients. They're comfortable with me. I've gotten in my groove where I realized that it doesn't matter, if I've ever done drugs or suffer with any drug addiction or things like that. But I'm living life, I'm surviving, and I'm surviving those things without actually putting a substance in my body. So really, there's something that you can learn from me. How'd you cope with this? Have you experienced this before? The depression, grief, trauma, things like that. If you've experienced it, and how'd you get through it without, relying on a substance? So, I mean, it's a really, really good field. I kind of urge more people to really look into it, because it's real easy to get, like a certification as a substance abuse counselor. Sometimes you don't even need any graduate degrees. You don't need a bachelor's. You can have a high school diploma and work as a substance abuse counselor. So, I mean,
Wow.
so I mean, the credentialing process is really easy to become a substance abuse counselor.
Oh, wow. I never do that. I never do that.
Yeah.
So I heard you talk about stereotypes, which leads me into the topic of the stigma about mental health.
Mm-hmm.
So there are three common negative stigmas attached to revealing like you have a mental health, which are stereotypes, prejudice, and discrimination. Stereotypes and prejudice, they lead to discrimination of
Mm-hmm.
individuals, which lead people to believe that like mentally ill people should be locked away because they are dangerous or unpredictable, or employers not wanting to hire them because they feel like they won't be reliable, or it's just a lot of stereotypes, and it leads to people not wanting to say that they have a mental illness, or which could be like depression or something. And
Right.
so which of these do you face in your practice, and how do you help your clients to overcome?
Okay. So, Before I get to like just as it relates to substance abuse, as it relates to mental health in general for everybody, mental health in general, times have changed and they're continuing to change, and that's something that you can actually see the trends over time. As far as the acceptance of mental disorders, if you go through like the history of how mental disorders were viewed back in like prehistoric days. If you had a headache or something was wrong with you, they thought you were vexed, or you had a spirit on you. They had to do an exorcism. They had to do those things. They had to do all like do certain things like that to try to alleviate some of whatever symptoms you were displaying. But today, we actually live in a society where it's not the moral conviction of a person to actually be, displaying symptoms of whether it's depression, anxiety, and it's more common today, but back in, like maybe a couple of years back, and maybe it wasn't so common that people were actually being so open about, their diagnosis, so I guess there's more people that actually are promoting, and they're lobbyists, in certain cities and states that actually go for the counselors and the boards and the credentialing boards, and they actually go and they lobby for their clients, and they actually go and they spread that awareness. So definitely, more awareness is needed, more representation is needed. But as it relates to my clients in substance abuse, and this is something that I truly, truly love about working with this population at my current place of employment. Of course, it's substance abuse, but there's different types of modalities of treatment. So the type of treatment that we offer to our clients, of course, is a 12-step, the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. Now, some people have heard of Alcoholics Anonymous. It's just, when you go to a meeting and you say, oh, my name is Jantrell, I'm an alcoholic. Hey, Jantrell, and they actually, you talk about, you just see it based off of movies, and you see it in movies all the time, and people just form this opinion of what it is. Some of my clients, that they get here, or this is their first time in treatment. And of course they come, even though they identify as addict and alcoholic, they will come here and they will already have they'll be fearful of attending meetings or talking about the 12 steps, because they feel like, well, that go against my religion, or that go against this. And I heard that AA was a cult. When really it's not, it's just that ignorance of just not knowing. Because most people, it's just fear that fuels them. And it's pretty much a fear of the unknown, and right. You don't take the time to actually go and seek that knowledge. And I mean, I'm a different type of person. I'm a student of life, anything. That's why I think I'm so successful, because I never want to know everything. I don't ever want to know anything. I want to always be learning. So I have those clients, they'll come into this program, and once they actually take their blinders off and they realize what the program is about, of course, the program, the purpose of Alcoholics Anonymous is just for the person to find a power greater than themselves. So a higher power, most people refer to, we just say higher power or God. We use that as a universal term because we don't want to offend anybody as far as whatever their religious practices are, what they believe in, whether it's Jesus Christ, Father God, Buddha, Allah, whatever it is your preference. And this program is a spiritual program, not religious, because the difference between most of my clients, they come here, they've been hurt by religion. They've been hurt by the church, because of course it's man-made, they take it and they twist it for their own understanding or for their own selfish purposes sometimes, because I like to refer to myself as both. I grew up in the church, but then as I matured, I'm more spiritual than I am religious. So, in saying that, my clients, when they get here, they're really encouraged. They've been broken down by life. So when you get to that point where you're just broken down, you're willing to take any suggestion that somebody's willing to give you. And the suggestion through the program is, of course, in identifying your higher power and working the 12 steps, we practically teach the clients, of course, and the only thing, what you need to be successful in this program is for you to just be honest, open, and willing. How? That's the little acronym that we tell them: being honest, being open, being willing. If you have a person that's honest about everything that they're doing, and they're open and they're willing, that means that they want the help, and they're willing to accept the help from whoever's giving that help. And then, of course, we teach our clients, they're seeking out, guidance from God, good orderly direction. Another acronym that we tell our clients, and most people, they say, well, they have the conflict between religion and spirituality, where they realize they start to say things, based off of what they learn in church or whatever institution they were in. They learn those things. They say, well, if I seek out, counseling, or I say I have depression and I go and see a counselor, that's like a slap in the face to God, you know, because God, he gonna heal me. He gonna heal everything. Not saying he can't, you know, but not God alone, you know. And the thing is this, you know,
Right.
if you believe that God is in every man, woman, and child, then you could be blocking your own blessing through pride and ego by not allowing the person that God sent to help you. You know, because I mean, that's like, and I like to see this on Facebook. I love Facebook sometimes because it's a whole bunch of inspirational stuff that I see on there, and I use it in my groups. I tell it to my client, like, because it's good. But there was something I saw on Facebook. It was just pretty much like a person prayed to God and asked God, you know, oh God, I just really want a cake. And the message on Facebook was pretty much saying, you know, God provided them the cake batter, gave them the flour, gave them the eggs, gave them the icing, and then they complain and fuss at God because, you know, I asked you for a cake and then you give me all of this. When really what God is requiring of you, he's gonna give you the direction, but you have to take action. You know, so I
Yes.
think that's the part
Yes.
that most people fail to realize. But that's something that I do with my clients. And of course, you know, we're real open in this program. Like I use a lot of self-disclosure with my clients, so I make them comfortable. I make them really, really comfortable when they get here. You know, I talk to them. Sometimes I share personal things, you know, that's my level of comfort, because I know I'm willing to put something out personal about me. They're not going to tag me with it, because I mean, it's my story and nobody can hurt me with my own story. You know,
Right.
so if I share that personal thing with them, and what I hope to gain, of course, I'm building rapport with them. They're going to trust me more if I'm being more open and vulnerable with them, and letting them know that vulnerability is not a weakness. You know, we can be intimate in this setting, me and you having a moment just talking about life and how we've been hurt by life and how we're angry at God. But in that same breath, you're saying you're angry at God, but you still acknowledge him as God. You know, so it's a very, very spiritual program. You know, it's beautiful to see my clients from when they first get here to when I can graduate them from this program, because it's just, I can witness those miracles. I can see it. You know, we
Yes.
always talk about, you know, tangible things, you know, God not being a tangible thing, tangible and intangible. But I mean, I can see his work in the people. I can see what the work that he's doing through me and through helping those clients. So, but yeah, I kind of got off as far as like the stereotypes and discrimination. As it comes to my clients, they've been so broken by life that when they get here, they don't have any other option. You know, so they're just so broken to where they're just willing to do anything. And that willingness is what pushes them forward to actually be successful, to maintain their sobriety.
Yes. And I love how you said you make the atmosphere comfortable,
Yeah.
something that they can relate to and, you know, open up. And that's, I like how you say that, because that's what I'm building in my platform. So
Yeah.
by you saying that, I'm learning, you know, that is something big, like a very big major step in things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so how can you help my audience and I change or help change the negative stigmas attached to mental health?
Mm, like I said, I kind of, you know, like I said, it's a spiritual program that we have here. And most of my clients, I'm sure, like when you talk about stigma, when you say stigma is the topic and you talk about mental health, of course, I thought about the Black community. There's definitely a stigma there. And of course, we're working to break that stigma every day. But like I said, us Black people, we are very, very religious. We are religious people. I don't know if it's because of what we've been through, everything. I don't know if it's in our DNA, but we are very religious, and we rely heavily on our God, you know. But it kind of goes back to my previous statement I made, of course, relying heavily on God, but also realizing that God is the source. He's the source. But then in the heavenly realm, he's the source, and he's intangible, meaning you can't touch him. You might could feel him, but you can't touch him. You can't see him, but he's intangible. But the people that he provided, and he may put on your path, those are the tangible things. The blessings that you receive, those are the tangible things. If you want to look at it in a quantitative way, things that you can actually count in numbers and things that you can see and touch and feel, you know. So that's a stigma that I kind of want to push to our audience, of our people, just pretty much telling them that you don't have to choose one or the other. You can have therapy and counseling, and you can still have God in church on Sunday and Bible study and quiet practice. You can do both. I've done both. I mean, I was born and raised in the church, you know, singing in choir. My mom, a choir director, you know, so we had to go to church, and nobody was staying home on no Sunday. We had to go to church. We had to sing in the choir. Either you was singing in the choir, you was on the usher board, and you didn't really have a choice, because it wasn't the usher board. It was going to be a choir, because my mom was a choir director,
That's
you know.
right.
So, but when it came down to that, of course, you know, get into the tradition of things, because we are very traditional people. We stick with tradition. We don't question tradition, and of course I didn't question it, but I mean, when you come to a certain age, you start knowing and understanding word for yourself. You have your own interpretation of what the word is, but you can know and understand God by yourself, and you can kind of distinguish, and you can have that discernment to know what's of God and what's not of God. And you can point out people that are hypocrites too, like you in the church and you in the pulpit and you doing all of this, but that's not of God. You talking and you gossiping about this one, that's not of God. And you can choose for yourself. You don't have to just get on the bandwagon of certain things. And sometimes I think religion is a bandwagon of certain things. People like, I mean, of course I go to church, praise God and do all those things, and I can still see things that I'm not quite with, and that's not quite of God. But you know what? I'm going to dismiss that so I could just be in this moment with you right now. And sometimes I just urge people to really find you a fellowship that you can actually feel that if we're not in that old school way of thinking, that old school of thought of just going to church and just going there and it's just tradition. Clap your hands and scream and shout when he say a certain word. If you don't really feel it, don't fake it. So that's just what I feel. Just pretty much saying that stigma within our community, of course, saying that you can have both. They don't have to be separate. You can have God and you can also have counseling.
Definitely. Now, I don't know if I'm calling this the right word, if I should say mental illness, or maybe you could give me the right word, but what are some signs of it? Like, how can, I know you're not, but what are some signs of it?
When we, well, as counselors, clinicians, we refer to the DSM-5. So that's the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for diagnosing clients. So when we look at it, it gives us criteria, a list of certain things, certain symptoms and signs to look for. Out of all of the diagnoses that can be found in the DSM-5, of course, you're going to see lack of willingness, lack of desire, sleeping all day, no ambition, not completing daily tasks. And when I say not completing daily tasks, that's things that, we're supposed to be doing, like getting up in the morning, washing your face, brushing your teeth, taking your shower, eating, combing your hair, when those actions begin to affect your livelihood. Like, so you so depressed, you're in your bed, you don't want to do anything, that you keep calling into work. And now you done lost your job. And now you can't pay all your bills. Now you're losing your house, and now you're homeless. So when it comes where it starts affecting things like that, it's causing distress within your life. And it just interrupts your daily functioning, for a period of time. So it can't be something like for like 1 week, you just in a funk for 1 week. That wouldn't be really deem a diagnosis of anything. But say, for instance, it's been going on and it's persistent for at least a month or two, then that's something that's an indicator that, okay, you need to talk to somebody, you need to figure something out, like what you need me to do to help you through this little rough patch or whatever you're going on.
So that leads into my next question. So someone that appears to be experiencing behaviors that's out of their character, what do you suggest we do? Like, if it's, I see my sister or, something, what do you suggest that we do?
I would say, of course, be there to support them, because support them through whatever it is that they need in that moment. I say support them, but not enable them. So if you see somebody, they're depressed or they're showing signs of anxiety or whatever, of course you want to be there to support them, but you're not going to enable their behavior. So if they're depressed, they won't be in bed all day, and they say, oh, bring me something to eat. I don't feel like getting out of bed. Okay, I'm gonna bring it to you, but you got to come down the stairs and get it, like just to help get them out the bed. So you're not gonna just enable that behavior for them to continue. So you got to kind of push them, but you don't want to push them too hard, because at the end of the day, you can notice those signs and those symptoms, and they may be aware of those signs and symptoms as well. But what are they willing to do about it? Or are they at the point where they want to implement action? They want to do something about it? Because if they're just gonna be in their feelings about it, and just want to lay in it or just wallow in the mess that they have in their life, then you got to let them wallow until they make the decision, because the decision has to be on them. They have to make that choice, that decision, like, okay, I'm tired of doing this. They got to be sick and tired of sick and tired, and you have to allow them to get sick and tired of being sick and tired before they actually decide to make a decision.
So that you just lead into all my next questions. I love it. So how do we find the best resources to help us? Like, what are the, how do we find the best resources?
Okay, so resources. Of course, if you're looking, because I think I just gave this information to somebody the other day. If you don't know how to find a counselor within your area, or you just don't know where to start on like your process of knowing that you want to do counseling, but you don't know what step you need to take. I would tell everybody to look into Psychology Today, because most credentialed licensed professional counselors, they're going to be on Psychology Today, and they're going to have like reviews of like past clients might leave reviews on. I have a page on there, but it was something that was created. My job actually put mine up there, my personal one, and it's going to list all the services that they provide, the type of counseling, their billing fee, how much they charge, what type of insurances that they take, if they do just only cash. It'll let you know all the information that you need. And you can just handpick a counselor. You can see their profile picture. You can call them and say, hey, I saw your profile on Psychology Today. I'm interested in some counseling services. Can I just fill you out? Can we just do like a little intake session, and let's just see, where we go from there. So that's usually one thing that I would tell people, because most people, they say, oh, she's a counselor, let me call her. It's not much that I can do, because like, I know I'm from New Orleans, I'm from there, but I currently live in Baton Rouge. So like, I have family members, that'll call me and say, hey, I got somebody there in crisis, they need you. I can't do that.
But it's
like,
good that they're,
yeah.
I think it's a good thing that they're doing that, because you might
Yeah.
know someone that,
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, of course, we have a network of counselors. Of course, we have like social media pages where we'll put like some information there. Hey, I have a person who, 27-year-old female in New Orleans, looking for a counselor for her depression or anxiety or something, and somebody might respond to it. But that's if they respond to it. But just actually giving that person the information that they need, because it's gonna take some action on their part. If they're really serious about it, they're gonna take the necessary steps. But when I say, people reaching out to me, of course I'm flattered, like, oh yeah, but if they put me on the phone with somebody that's in distress, that person automatically becomes my client. And it's only so much I can do. Like, say for instance, they're distressed and they're threatening suicide. There's only so much I can do if I'm in Baton Rouge, that person's in New Orleans, and those type of things that puts my license on the line, because it could be, negligence or, malfeasance or things like that. Like, I didn't do what was necessary for that client. So if it's something where I'm out of reach and I can't get to them, or I can't call, the ambulance to get to them in time, that will fall on me. So I like to just pretty much urge people, and most people, they don't know those things. They don't know. So
right.
I just tell them,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it falls on me. Like, if I answer the phone and somebody's on the line and say, hey, I got your number from such and such, and I'm really in distress, I'm stressed out, I'm sitting here, I got these pills, I'm thinking about taking these pills. That becomes my client in that moment. And everything I had planned for that day, gone out the window, because all of my attention needs to be on that client now. Especially getting them the help that they need, trying to figure out where they are, what's your address, where you staying, is somebody there with you, getting that address and getting the ambulance over there as soon as possible, because that will fall on me. And of course, not only as a professional, but as a person, as a human,
right.
Because you got to live, you got to carry that weight. You have to carry that, even though it's a profession that we choose, it can be heavy. It's real heavy as far as the things that we discuss, the things that our clients go through, the things that they tell us is really, really heavy. So you got to keep things light, especially when you have like a profession where everything is so heavy and traumatic.
Heavy, right.
Yes. Oh yeah. But of course I would say Psychology Today, and the National Suicide Prevention Line is a hotline, and that number, I'm gonna give it right now, it's 1-800-273-8255. So that's something that I give all the time, especially if like friends or family, they reach out to me and they say what the issue is. I say, well, you know what, give this person this number. It's going to put them on the line with a hotline, and those people are going to do everything. They're trained specifically for that. They're going to do everything that they need in that moment.
So those are the resources, y'all, that she just gave. Take the number down, and if somebody may need it, pass it along. So y'all, we have that now. My motto is be bold, be beautiful, be you. I say it all day. I try to live by it. I encourage other people to be bold, be beautiful, be them. So what is a motto that you stand on and live by that you can share with the rest of us?
My number one motto and just my go to for every aspect of my life, of course, is doing to others as you would have them doing to you. And it just applies to every aspect of my life, whether it's my personal life or it's my professional life, whether I'm at work or I'm at school. It just applies in all areas, just to realize, it stops a person from being selfish, because we need more selfless people in this world, so if I'm going to take into consideration and I'm going to have compassion for the other person, I'm going to just give to them the same thing that I would want somebody to do for me. So I'm always putting, that's just pretty much having compassion and having empathy, so just realizing that, if I was in this position, what would I want somebody to do for me if I were in this position? So I always put myself in the shoes of others. So that's just a motto, and it's a philosophy. It's the way I lead my life.
Yes, definitely. And I just want to thank you so much for even coming on here and allowing me to even talk about and bring up mental health, because that's a big thing that I believe that we need to talk more about. Like I said,
Yes.
I'm considering counseling.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what steps to take, and by you just coming on and telling us to go to, what was it,
Psychology today. Yes, psychology today.
once this is over, I'm going to see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like nothing is wrong with me, but I want to go
Yeah.
to counseling just
Mm-hmm.
to vent, to tell them my goals, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
going to be like a therapy for myself,
Yes.
So I just want to thank you so much. And
Mm-hmm.
I just want to open up the floor to you to let everybody know whatever you want to know. Give us your social media platforms and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. So I just want to thank you, because honestly, people reach out to me all the time. They reach out to me. I mean, I posted it. I know people follow me and they see it. They're just on this journey with me. So when I posted, that I was a national certified counselor, then you DM me. And I was like, oh Lord, and I read it. I saw your love talk, because I saw, the people. I saw the one with Basha, I saw the one with Chelsea. And I was familiar with it. So when you asked me, I was like, me? It's always like that, because most people think that you're cocky and you're egotistical, but you're really not. I'm shocked
Right.
by everything. I'm shocked by everything. Like me, they thought that much about me. So I just want to encourage you to keep on doing what you're doing as far as using your platform and giving me the opportunity to use my platform, because it's definitely something that I do. I don't do it too much on social media, but of course, I'm out there. I'm doing professional conferences and things like that. I'm always doing things like that, especially, the work that I do within my sorority. So, yeah, I just want to thank you so much for even giving me this opportunity, because it's something that's definitely needed. When I saw your message and I thought about it, of course, the fear always creeps up in the inside. And this is a fear of the unknown, not knowing what's going to happen, not knowing what the outcome will be. Also, the self-doubt. And I think a lot of us, we suffer with that self-doubt. When you have an idea and it's something that you really want to do, but you'll let self-doubt crop up, or it may not even be your self-doubt. You'll allow other people's self-doubt to creep up on it. Oh, you don't need to do that, or why this, or maybe you need to wait, and da, 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 da. So people that'll come with that, but you have to be strong enough to feel that fear and do it anyway. So of course, when I when you messaged me
Yes.
that, I felt the initial fear, like, oh Lord, everybody gonna see me and they gonna hear what I'm saying, and what if I say the wrong thing, because I overcorrect. I'm like a perfectionist for sometimes, but the thing is, I like to prepare. I like to be structured. I'm organized. That's me. So when you sent that, of course, the fear flamed up. I felt it instantly. But you know what? I said, I felt that fear and I did it anyway. And I immediately said, okay, yes, I'll do it. Because, why would I pass up on my calling? Because I definitely feel, it's my calling, it's a
Yes.
purpose over your life.
I got
So
chill
if
bumps.
God,
I got chill bumps.
yes, so if God has blessed me with all of this, because it's all because of God, it ain't me. Of course, he's given me the direction. He's allowed, certain blessings in my life. And I mean, I just go through the door, and I'm waiting at the door, being still, like, okay, God, what's next? Because it's just me and him. It's me
Yes.
and him. So why would I, he allowed me, he blessed me with all these things, let me give a little bit to the people. Because, you don't get
Yes.
into this type of profession just for show. You don't do it for just you, or just to get some stripes, just to say you're doing it. You do it because you have a passion for it. You want to help people, so of course, so when you reached out to me, I said, I was fearful. That's the human side of me. I was fearful, but I said, you know what, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yes, and I'm gonna take it a step further. I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm just I'm just stepping out now. My mom is actually having a convention in August 17th in New Orleans,
Uh-huh.
and I want you to be there. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna, when this is over, I'm gonna I'm gonna call you and we're gonna
Uh-huh.
discuss that because she's actually a mental health specialist as well. So I
Okay.
am going to definitely pass that information along to you so that it doesn't just stop here. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because it's what I just have chill bumps from the beginning, from when you first started talking and giving us all your credentials and all of that, and I'm just so inspired. And like I
Mm-hmm.
said, to see you is to see myself, because
Yes.
you represent all of us. Like,
Yes.
and
Yes.
keep doing what you're doing. I'm gonna keep
Mm.
doing what I'm doing, like you told me to. And thank you so much. And this is Love Talk. Y'all share this video. Go back to the
Mm-hmm.
information that she provided, and we're doing the thing. We're doing this thing. So thank you. And y'all have a good night.
All right. Thank you. Bye, y'all.
You are so welcome. Bye.